I was first mystified by Star Trek when I was very young, after watching some of the original series movies with my older brother. Cool ships, adventures on strange planets, exciting battles. The Star Trek universe created many great moments. Star Trek Legacy was released for the Xbox 360 and PC in the fall of 2006 to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the franchise. Players can control a fleet of up to 4 ships to complete missions and, of course, fight other ships. There are 3 main modes: Campaign, Skirmish, and Online Multiplayer. The main campaign takes you through a story that spans the 3 main eras of Star Trek in chronological order: Enterprise, Original Series, and Next Generation. This is before the reboot. The captains from all 5 series appear in the story, with the original actors voicing the characters, which is awesome. While this game isn't canon, the story has a lot of continuity nods, such as having a mission featuring Picard commanding the Stargazer. The next mode is Skirmish, which lets players go up against enemy fleets in deathmatch, or protect a starbase from waves of enemies in co-op battle. The player can pick the battlefield, the number of enemies and allies, the era for ships available, the spending limit, race, and the structure of their own fleet. The one thing the player can't decide is the structure of the AI fleets. The AI will get the biggest bang for its buck, which means seeing at least one battleship, even if it means having a team smaller than the maximum size allowed for the match. The game will structure your fleet the same if you start a match without choosing your ships. Online multiplayer is the mode I have the least experience using, since I didn't have Xbox Live when I first played the game, and not many people, if any, play it now. The selection of ships is great, with ships categorized as scouts, destroyers, cruisers, or battleships, some of which were even made for the game. But depending on the era and the race you choose, you may have only 4 or so ships to choose from for fleets. When I first got my hands on Star Trek Legacy, I did not have a strong frame of reference for a good Star Trek game. I really enjoyed the game. I loved seeing all the different ships and flying around pizza box shaped space and blasting enemy starships. I was able to play as my favorite starship, the Miranda class, which is best known for the Reliance in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. It wasn't until I revisited the game recently that I found its more glaring flaws and saw just how rushed out the door the game was. Although the story does stretch through the eras of Star Trek, it is very basic. The main antagonist is a card-carrying villain who controls the board. The campaign mode itself is very basic. There is no mission select, and you only have one save file. Once you complete a mission, the only way to play it again is to start the campaign from the beginning. So if you want to play as Captain Kirk again, you have to play through the Enterprise era, which can be very dull if you have no sentimental attachment to that era like I did. I didn't even know that show existed until I played the game. Then again, a lot of people didn't. The controls are serviceable if a bit complicated, but it isn't nearly as bad as the controls for the PC version. The AI for your fleet is terrible in most circumstances. The AI can just stop doing anything or get distracted by something. Worst of all, unless you're playing as the board, the AI won't automatically start repairing damaged ships in your fleet, forcing you to switch to those ships and manually activate repairs. Switching ships may cause the AI to do something weird, such as bringing a ship to an abrupt stop. Going into warp can skew the paths you laid out for your fleet, which can lead to some interesting destinations. The collision detection is hilarious. Ramming ships is a last resort in the Star Trek universe. In Legacy, ships bounce off each other like bumper cars. Planets and star bases are tiny and have similar collision detection. Firing torpedoes is luck-based, since your lock can be terminated in a second, so some torpedoes fired in a row can miss. The range at which a ship will fire at a target can vary depending on the ship, and the layout of some ships' weapons forces you to approach enemies from certain angles, which isn't always intuitive. While the game looks good graphically, it lacks polish. If you look at certain ships from far away, such as the Romulan Warbird, you might see sparkling yellow lines. That is the damaged texture peeking through the ordinary texture. When ships are destroyed, they sometimes retain their shape when parts are blasted away. Cutscenes look stiff and awkward. Other sloppy mistakes include mixing up the icons for the Miranda class and the Miranda class refit. You can tell when you look at the aft part of the ship, and the warp nacelles. Nerd! As you play the campaign, you unlock videos about the story. For some reason, after each video ends, the select page's background pops up for a second before the video starts up again. Star Trek Legacy had so much potential to be great but was only passable. Though it is very limited, I do enjoy it for the decent starship combat, being able to play with ships I love from the franchise, and listening to Patrick Stewart and the others reprise their roles. Unfortunately, unless you are a Star Trek fan, this game doesn't have much to offer, so I can't recommend it to everyone. It could have been worse. At least the Xbox version is playable, unlike another anniversary game that came out that year under similar circumstances. You know the one. Thank you for watching. I will make more game reviews as part of my channel. Please subscribe for more videos. You can follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook to get updates on future videos. Thanks for watching. Live long and prosper.